Everyone for joining. Very good morning to you all. The purpose of calling a separate press briefing before the actual event was because the subject that we are dealing with is actually very technical in nature and
Sir, sorry for interruption. Just for recording purpose, your introduction. I know Mr. Yasin from GC
okay,
Media.
okay.
For recording.
I'm Yasin Chaudhary. I'm an IS officer, 2015 batch. I'm currently MD NHM, Jammu and Kashmir. Fair enough. Audio is fine. So usually we obviously keep on giving some press releases or the other, but the subject at hand was technical and it required some detailed expounding. So that's why we thought that we'd invite some people over and start talking about it so that we can build up, we can have some build up before the event. I'm sure that a week ago you would have followed this very important development in the health sector in J&K. That was the release of the SRS survey results. The SRS is the sample registration survey, which is conducted by a third party, a government mandated third party agency, to look into our leading health indicators. And I'm very, very proud to say that Jammu and Kashmir has uh, dropped its IMR by a solid 3 points. It has come down to 17 points from 20 points, and this is the largest increase ever in the history of Jammu and Kashmir, and in fact, the largest increase between two successive readings in the whole country ever. So this goes on to show that all these major developments that we have made in terms of in addition to our healthcare infrastructure, particularly maternal and pediatric infrastructure, has yielded results, and we are securing the lives of our neonates and infants. Before I go on about this, let me tell you a bit about what we have been planning. So, on 6th June, Jammu and Kashmir is going to host the first of its kind MCH conclave, or Maternal and Child Health Conclave, which is basically a 2 day national level event which will be in the format of a best practice sharing summit. So, we want to lead the country in bringing together all the leading maternal and pediatric experts, both from the tertiary care side, the clinical side, as well as the community health side, and also from the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, as well as developmental organizations, multilateral organizations like WHO, Norway India Partnership Initiative, so on and so forth, and have an intense, series of discussions, a series of panel discussions on the burning topics related to MCH here in J&K. So this was being planned well in advance for pretty much the last 6 months. But because and this IMR reduction news just happened to come, so we are very glad to leverage upon it and make JNK as the center of attention, or rather, like WHO, Norway India Partnership Initiative, so on and so forth, and have an intense, series of discussions, a series of panel discussions on the burning topics related to MCH here in JNK. So this was being planned well in advance for pretty much the last 6 months. But because and this IMR reduction news just happened to come, so we are very glad to leverage upon it and make JNK as the center of attention, or rather, as a center of convergence for discussions regarding improvement in MCH care. I'd like to lay some background. National Health Mission, its genesis was actually in this scheme called RCH, Reproductive and Child Health. The dozen other schemes were added later, but maternal and child health remain our core bread and butter, so as to say. The Janni Shishu Suraksha Yojana, Janni Suraksha Yojana, or the Rashtriya Bal Swasthya Karyakram. These have been, the age-old, schemes that have been running in NHM for the last more than a decade. And we have been building upon them, not just in a beneficiary-oriented scheme promotion manner, but also, as I said, in terms of infrastructure. And this is where I'm coming to. So, one instance, or evidence that I want to lay out is the establishment of dedicated infant and neonatal care, or rather critical care units, in the form of, say, SNCU, Special Newborn Care Units, or NICU, NICU, Newborn Intensive Care Unit, or PICU, Pediatric Intensive Care Unit, which NHM had been very arduously sponsoring and establishing in all the district hospitals, and even those which later got converted into GMC, and even the CHCs. And it is because of this infrastructure addition that we had been able to see, more and more sick neonates not being referred, and hence, losing their lives in transit, and many other things. We are very proud to say that J&K UT, or NHM J&K, was one of the first state or UT state health societies in the country to establish all these units in a time-bound manner. I am also very glad to inform you, and a lot of you would have followed this particular event which took place in SMGS Hospital, Jammu, a couple of months ago. This was in regard to the ECRP package.